Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Blue Corner and to a Card My Banger video. Before I get into this, I'm just going to say I apologize for how this is going to sound. My usual recording setup isn't available to me, so I'm making do with an older style one. This should be rectified the next time I shoot a video, but until then, we're just going to have to grit and bear it, which is fine by me because I just want to get this out there, given just I want people to know about what's happening because the more people that know about what Bushiroad has accidentally unleashed upon the world, again, the more people will raise a noise about it, and thus maybe they'll be more inclined to actually fix this before it becomes a thing. Because lo and behold, Bushiroad has allowed yet another infinite power loop, and this is probably the easiest one to pull off yet. At this point, I'm pretty much convinced that Bushiroad's R&D is just a bunch of idiots that have no concept of what proper R&D is, because this is what the third infinite power thing that we have gotten within the last year and a half. We had Infinity Maiden, Fenrir Wiseman, and now Gale Shade Night Spinal is what I'm calling this one, or Gale Spinal. I don't know what the term for this is, but basically, the new starter from the Ruby Labyrinth booster has a disgusting series of interactions with two 7 Seas cards, allowing that deck to now pull off an infinite power gain column attack in addition to being able to do what it already did. So this is just another nice little feather in the cap of an already good deck that just will take it to an extremely cancerous level of obscene. So what are we talking about? So we're talking about a new starter called Gale Shade. It's got the Hall ability. It's originally designed for Night Rose, kind of as one thrown to the soul. When your Night Rose unit hits a Vanguard, you can pay the cost you do. Call a grade 1 from your drop zone to Rearguard Circle and it gains 3k until end of turn. Whatever. It's the other skill that's obnoxious here. So, act, drop zone, generation break 1, choose one of your grade 1 or greater rear guards, rest it, and call this unit to rearguard circle hollow. Innocent ability by itself, it's a free unit that you can then sack off for, what is it, Rampage Shade? No, no, Sea Strolling Band? No, not that one. But basically, there's a couple cards for Night Rose that sack off units to call itself back. Gas Dragon. This is what I guess it was intended for. However, its interactions with 7 Seas is instead what's causing the uproar because, again, it has dumb interactions. So let's talk about the 7 Seas card in particular. So there are two cards that break this thing. The first one is 7 Seas Pillager Night Spinal. That's the grade 2 that allows you to call it from your drop zone to rearguard circle by discarding a 7 Seas unit from your hand. It's part of what made 7 Runner so disgustingly good because it also has the ability to gain 2,000 power each time a 7 Seas unit is called from the drop zone. Then we have 7 Seas Helmsman Nitro. You know, that thing that allowed you to sack off rear guards to call itself from drop zone to rear guard circle as long as you have a 7 Seas Vanguard in play? Yeah, that guy. Because of the interactions with Gale Shade and Nightcrow, you basically get to call Nightcrow out an infinite number of times, thus powering up Night Spinal each time it comes into play. And it's as easy to do as your first stride, as listed here by the organization. What you do is you stride into Ghost King, Great Ghosty King Obadiah on top of any 7 Seas Vanguard. You send Night Spinal, Helmsman, and Gale to the drop zone in order to make pay its cost, and then afterwards you discard any 7 Seas card in your hand to call Night Spinal, and then you retire anything to call Night Crow, giving Night Spinal 2,000 power. Then you rest that Night Crow to call Gale Shade on top of it, and then you retire the Gale Shade to call Night Crow back, giving Night Spinal another 2,000 power. And then you just repeat. You do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until your Night Spinal is just too big to guard, and then you swing and hope to get there. If it doesn't get there, then you can just sack it off for Slash Aid, because guess what? This loop cost you nothing. No Counterblasts, no Soul, nothing to drop zone, nothing from drop zone. No, all you just have to do is temporarily give up a booster to call your starter back, and then you sack off that starter to call your booster. Like, what the hell were they thinking? Really nothing. And it's, I don't even know what else to say at this point other than that. Again, it's another infinite power loop, the easiest one to pull off yet, and unless they do something about this immediately, I think it's going to see play because 7 Seas is already a good deck. It just got phased out by Night Rose because of her interactions with Negro Lily on the opponent's turn, but this just might make this deck the more played one just because in addition to being able to do the things that 7 Seas already was able to do, Now you can just go into this play and try to kill your opponent with infinite power rearguard columns. Like, what the hell? Now, there are a couple solutions to this. The first one would be you would make an immediate errata saying that decks that include Grade 3 or higher cards with 7 Cs in their name cannot include Gale Shade. This kills the loop entirely, as again, you need to be striding in order to pull this off. The other one is you change the effect of Gale Shade itself, making it so that if you say call it from drop zone to rearguard circle through its own ability, bind it if it leaves the field, or put it to the bottom of the deck if it leaves the field. Yes, they've already printed the card, it's on here and all that, but this wouldn't be the first time that they've changed the effect of a card that they've already revealed. The same thing happened with the Genesis starter when it was first announced. I believe it was a Ladying, yeah, that one. When he was first announced, he didn't have a once per turn restriction, or he couldn't call. No, he couldn't call himself. So that's his restriction. But when he was first revealed, you could call him back. And so the loop was you would go into Fortuna, throw Ladying into the Soul, Soul Blast, call Fortuna, call Ladying back, throw it into the Soul again, and you would repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat until Fortuna was just too big to guard. Then they changed Ladying's text, and everything became fine. They could honestly do that here. Either way, one of these two things needs to happen. Otherwise, we're in for, again, well, the format is probably going to be cancerous pretty soon because, again, Gear Chronicle, it got hit, but it's still a really powerful deck. Sanctuary Guard is still a thing. Some people consider Night Rose to be obnoxious as well. So it's like the format isn't the greatest, and it's just going to get worse when this set drops. And nobody wants that to happen. And hopefully they'll do something about it. Japan's Twitter, as I may have already mentioned, is already going apeshit over this. And hopefully Bushiroad pays attention to that. But I'm hoping people over here also raise noise in the best ways they can. Contact Bushiroad. Maybe do they actually pay attention to Facebook groups and videos and such? Hopefully some of the bigger name Vanguard tubers will bring this up and they'll catch their attention because this needs to be stopped. It hasn't come out yet, and there's still time to fix it. Please, for the love of God, do so. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video for what it was worth. If you can, again, make some noise. Let's just do what we can to try and get their attention so that they know that this is a problem that needs to be fixed. Until the next time, this is Blue Starter 9, jacking off.